Hi everyone, so I asked for some questions on Instagram a while back for a Q&A and I'm finally getting around to it. This is the second time I've had to film this because I filmed it and it wasn't in focus the first time because I tried it on my camera, and yeah, so I'm refilming it and I hope you enjoy. So the first question is how to conquer nervousness, phobias, if you've ever come across them. From a dog trainer perspective, from a behaviour perspective, it would mostly be about the route of desensitization and reconfigurating basically their understanding of whatever it is that's making them nervous or making them like giving them a phobia basically. It's about just giving them that distance and then working on it gradually. Personally, my dogs have had a couple of different bits and bobs where they've got quite nervous. Rain sometimes struggles with new environments. I've started to try and work out what it is that's making him nervous and how I can support him. So with Rain, when he's nervous in a new environment, it's mostly going back to behaviours he already knows, so like getting him to do tricks that he really enjoys. I like to get him playing with toys he really loves. I have to be really energetic, really bouncy. Yeah, so basically just supporting him as much as you can. If they thrive off you being off your head and being like an absolute maniac, then yeah, let loose a bit and just do it. But generally from a behaviour perspective, it'd probably be about getting them used to it again. Motivation for dogs that have zero motivation. Now, that is something I struggled with Digby. Darcy, kind of, depending. She's always been motivated, but she's not naturally driven, like she's not a naturally driven dog. Rain, however, he's very well driven dog and he's a worker, but also he needs that motivation to really get the best out of him. My best tips is probably finding toys they really love, finding food they really love, again, going crazy, being like your most manic self ever, because they love that. And Rain really thrives off me being and just looking like an idiot. So yeah, so being as crazy as possible really, and working out what it is that motivates them, so trying different things. Mostly I've found it's myself that needs to be more manic, moving more, that generally helps. And also for motivating dogs, I like to give them tricks that kind of instill confidence. So for Digby, he was quite a quiet dog, and teach him to speak, which can have its ups and downs because now he never shuts up if he's on the front and he's got a ball and he's like, ah! Trying to really unleash that craziness in them, letting them know that they can go crazy, and just building it up in tiny amounts, so not asking them to go mad for 5 minutes, just getting that like maybe 5 seconds from them where they just go a bit manic, and then really rewarding, and then leaving it there. Favourite tricks to teach? Probably teaching Darcy to jump in my arms was one of my favourites, and I like to do the head down one, so where they lay the head flat on the floor. It's really cute for pictures. Has Rain's training been different to your other dogs, and why? So yeah, he has been really different. I've also gone about it a different approach as well. With Rain, I approached it quite different. He was sort of like my guinea pig. I can probably count on one hand how many times he's had like treats other than his food. So he gets his meals in the bowl, of course, and then I maybe take out that allowance each day, so he always takes his food on my walks, and I always use it as a treat. And it's really good because then when I'm in environments like training, like agility training, where I want him to be extra crazy but he's only playing with treats, if that makes sense, so he only wants to use food, then I can use hot dogs or cheese, which he doesn't ever rarely get, and it just makes him really motivated. So that's something I did with him, was a bit different. He's a lot more well driven. I say that while he's falling asleep. He's had a busy day. He's always thinking, what am I going to do next? Whereas Darcy and Digby are just like, just give me the food, just give me the toy. So they're more concentrated on themselves. Being a working dog is quite sensitive. What age should a pup start doing wing wraps, weaves and jumping low bars in your opinion? I guess it's a hard one because everyone's different. Personally, weaves, he's done, I think when he was about 11 months, not 11 months, when he was about 13 months, he's gone through the channels a couple of times, barely, like it's really wide channels just to get the movement, and then we've left it, and obviously since lockdown as well, but he won't be doing proper weaves till he's about 15 months. I think 14 months would be my very minimum but for weaves, but I wouldn't start closing them. I'd probably do about 15 months because then you've got 3 months to close them and you're not rushing and you can do all the entries and stuff. Wing wraps, again, people tend to rush into this. I've seen puppies doing them at like 12 weeks. I'm like, why? They don't need to be doing them. You can do cones and you can shape that rather than a wing. So with wing wraps, 6 months at the very minimum for me personally. I'd rather teach them extension and speed first and then teach collection. That's just personal preference. It's worked with him. I mean, he's got quite a nice natural collection. I also wouldn't use like thin things if you're going to use, this was a tip that I'd learned, using like big bins to teach them to go around, just so it's a softer turn on younger dogs. I wouldn't have them going around really tight things. I know I did a little bit of a mistake with him when he was a puppy, but yeah, I would say 6 months at very minimum, just shaping, not adding speed, and then just doing it gradually. He didn't start jumping properly till he was about 12 months. That was only when it started to raise a bit more. How old do you think you'll bring Rain out into competing if no COVID? So the original plan with Ray, he was going to come out in like competition for just any size or jumping rounds in about September time, and then he was going to have winter off, and then he was going to train his dog walk even more, and then he was going to come back for agility properly next year in the summer season. I don't want to do it. Still don't want to do any indoor shows with him as like his first shows, because I just think it's quite a really demanding environment, especially for a young dog that doesn't understand it. Personally, for him, he would struggle. He wouldn't like it, so I would never put him in that position. But yeah, so the original plan, he wasn't going to actually do proper agility till next year. He'd probably be about 2 years old. Goals for 2021. So I have 3 dogs that I run in competition technically. Well, hopefully. So I'll have Rain, I'll have Fitz, and I'll have Darcy. Darcy's goals are get to grade 7, compete in a champ class, and I want to chase the medium ABC qualifiers a little bit, see how we can do in that. And yes, so that's her goals. Fitz was to maybe get to grade 3 because he's currently grade 1. Do a bit of novice stuff, get him weaving properly in the ring and get him weaving fully, and just get to grips with our confidence. Rain's pretty much the same, just getting him comfortable in the ring, getting him confident, getting the equipment in the ring, and maybe doing a couple of novice stuff. I don't think he'll be quite as ready, but we can try. Did Darcy ever struggle with ring environment? Yes. Yes, she did. First couple of shows we did, she would run out the ring to go find my mum and dad because I'd get them to hide around. She used to run out quite a bit. She was fine at her first show, and then after that she got a little bit more worried, but that was because I was nervous. I was so nervous when I first started competing, and that impacted her because she worried about me and she wanted to go find mum and dad to help me. So that's how I interpret it. I did struggle. It was just generally practice. What I found best for Darcy, because she was running off to go find mum and dad, is if he walked away from where she knew they were and they stayed there, then she was fine. Or if they queued with us and they stayed where she knew they were, she was fine. She's still a little bit funny, but she's a lot better now, and that was just something that helped her. How do you make agility trials fun for each dog? Have you ever had any difficulties with this? So I think it's just making sure you're not pressured. I know it's hard if you get really nervous. I got really nervous. I still sometimes do for big stuff as well. Making it really fun and positive, playing their rings if they're comfortable with that, treating them, you know, making them really confident. Again, going back to their behaviours they know and they love. So like Darcy is like speak. Rain likes to do beep beep where he reverses, so that's just a really good way to build confidence in them, so give them stuff they really love to do. Are there any points where you lost your confidence? Yes, again, yeah. I lost my confidence at a few different points actually. I've had a couple of times where I just sort of crumbled a bit. If you've been following me a while, you'll know I tried out for Junior Team GB 2 occasions. When I got rejected the second time, that really knocked my confidence. Like, I was just so motivated. I was just so, like, it was such a big thing for me, and I was so focused on it. The first year I didn't expect to get in, and I just thought, right, I'm going to go out this season, I'm going to really try my best, I'm going to really work hard on the European moves, I'm going to really try and get my confidence. Then we went the second time, and I think it was the first day of the second time I tried out, we had a jumping round, and I got E'd at like right at the beginning, and I thought, oh, because we only ever go clear in jump-ins, like it's a rarity we go clear in agility because contacts are just a bit of a pain. The second half was beautiful, she did really well, I was really chuffed with it, and then I was just gutted at myself. And then we came second and went clear in the agility round, and that's how we got through to the second day for them tryouts. I was so pleased. And then we got to the second day of tryouts, which was a couple months later, and I had 3 eliminations, and we were so close to qualifying for the win on spot. Darcy went into the wrong end of the tunnel, and I was gutted because she'd been clear, and she would have been clear most likely, and her time was really quick. It was quick enough, I think, when I worked it out. And yeah, so I was a bit gutted because, you know, you think it's so close and you don't get it. And it really knocked my confidence for a while. It wasn't GB's fault. I mean, they pick who are the best, and we just weren't. We weren't consistent enough. And yeah, it just really knocked my confidence for a while because it was such a big deal for me. I had an occasion at KCI, not last year, the year before. I had loads of goals set out in my head. I really wanted to qualify for Novice Cup, and I really wanted to qualify for junior event, and we didn't. And I put so much pressure on myself, and I think I had a panic attack in like one of the queues. Like, I just burst out crying, and I was like, what is wrong with me? My confidence was really knocked. It was mostly because I had such big goals for myself, and I used to really beat myself up about it. I think you've just got to understand that not everything's meant to work out. My favourite quotes is, take a deep breath, your dream doesn't have an expiration date. And I think that's so relevant because so many of us worry about and we want to get it now and now, but I think sometimes it's really worth waiting for. So that's my favourite quote. Favourite thing about each dog. So favourite thing about Darcy, her just general demeanour, being a diva, her sassiness. I just love that about her. Digby would be his lovingness. He, bless him, he likes to take me to bed every night, so every time I go upstairs he always comes up and he lays on my bed with me till I fall asleep. So that's really sweet. He's a really sweet dog with the people he loves. And Rain, just being next to me all the time, he just wants to be with me and work for me, and he's just such a happy dog. Like, it's just infectious. Like, you just look at him and you just feel happy. What made you go for a working cocker? They just fitted in with my lifestyle, really. I'd researched them for about 2-3 years maybe. Researched them properly, I should say, for 2 years. It was always between a working cocker spaniel and border collie. I will end up eventually getting a border collie at some point in the future. Not in this house because we haven't got enough room. But yeah, that was essentially down to that reason, really. We didn't have enough room for a border collie, and I still wanted to stay medium. Well, if he stays in medium. So I didn't want to go into large just yet. I wasn't finished with my medium career. Really fitted in, and he fits my personality, and he's just a great little dog. What breeds would you like to own and why? So I would like to own probably border collie for sure. Just because they fit my personality and I've always loved them. They're like my ultimate breed. Mini American Shepherds, I love them. I've always been a huge fan of Australian Shepherds. I shouldn't say it, I like that Mini Americans are smaller, but I've always been a huge fan of the Australian Shepherds. I love border paps. I know that's not a breed, it's a crossbreed, but I love border paps. I'd like to have a beardie. I love beardies, they're really sweet. And I think probably a collie cross poodle. I really love them. I just love my poodles, they're just so sweet, and I don't think I could be without them. What are your dreams to do with agility? My ultimate goal is to compete on that Agility World Championship carpet one day. That's like my absolute dream. I just love that vibe, and like when you watch it, it just makes me so motivated. So that's like my biggest ever goal. And probably to win a champ ticket maybe. I know that's quite far out, but yeah, competing in Crufts Main Ring, Agility World Championships, and maybe agility champion. That's like my 3 ultimate like goals in life. What would your friends describe you as? Late for everything, always laughing at something, and I always apologise. Like, I'm constantly saying, oh, sorry. So yeah, so that's how they describe me. Top recall and retrieve tips. Recall, generally I've always let off my dogs from being babies, and then if they have issues they go on a long line. Digby's the only one that's really needed to go on a long line. Using a different word, not their name, and probably always taking treats out with me to reward when they check in. Retrieve, I'm still working on that one, I'm not so good. I can't teach like a formal retrieve, like an obedience one, but we're okay. We're okay with like a toy one. I think if you give them the toy and then like let them win, and then you make yourself really enticing and make them really want to play with you, then that works. That's what I did with him. How's Rain's agility training going? So yeah, it's really good. I've written out a list of all the things I think I need to teach him, and I'm going to write out some training plans, some timescales when I want to teach them. So that's the whole what I've got in store. I need to get on with his running dog walk as well. But yeah, so he's got quite a bit planned. He's doing well. I'm just taking it nice and steady. There's no rush with him. I'd rather get things right now and get the speed that I want rather than rush into teaching everything and then not get the motivation and the speed that I'm asking for from him. So I hope this Q&A has been interesting for you. I'm sorry it took so long to film, and thank you so much for watching, so bye!